Imagine this. You're exhausted, waiting at the airport, when suddenly, a Hollywood A-lister walks right past you. But instead of ignoring fans or rushing off with bodyguards, they stop, smile, and do something no one expected. Building suspense. From unexpected road trips to life-changing gestures, these are the airport encounters that left fans speechless, featuring none other than the legendary Keanu Reeves. You won't believe what happened next. Before we continue this story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel. Because tomorrow, we have another special story for you. Clara Martinez had been a flight attendant for 12 years, and she'd seen it all: tantrum-throwing toddlers, entitled businessmen, and plenty of celebrities. Most A-listers, in her experience, treated cabin crews like wallpaper, invisible unless they needed a vodka tonic or a heated eye mask. So when her co-workers gossiped about Keanu Reeves flying economy to Tokyo, Clara rolled her eyes. "I'll believe it when I see it," she muttered, adjusting her scarf. Little did she know, this flight would change her mind about fame and humanity, forever. Chapter 1. Keanu Reeves and the Overwhelmed Single Mom. Flight: Los Angeles to Tokyo. The boarding line stretched endlessly, and Clara was already frazzled. Then she spotted him, Keanu Reeves, in a worn leather jacket, quietly helping a young mother struggling with a stroller and a toddler. The child's teddy bear had rolled under a seat, and Keanu knelt to retrieve it, handing it back with a smile. "Need a hand?" he asked the mom, hoisting her carry-on into the overhead bin. "Sir, please take your seat," Clara interrupted, her tone clipped. "You're holding up the line." Keanu blinked, then nodded. "Of course. My apologies." He slipped into his middle seat without a fuss. Later, during meal service, Clara noticed him again. He'd given his dessert to the toddler across the aisle and was listening intently to the mom's story about her husband's military deployment. When the child spilled juice, Keanu helped clean it up, joking, "I've survived way worse in John Wick." As they deplaned, the mom tearfully thanked him. Clara overheard Keanu say, "You're doing the hard work." "Thank you." He then handed her a business card. "If you ever need a babysitter in L.A., call me." "Seriously." Clara's cheeks burned with shame. Later, she found a note tucked into her crew logbook. "Long days, right? You handled it like a pro. K." Beside it was a $100 bill and a coffee voucher. Chapter 2. Tom Hanks and the Nervous First-Time Flyer. Flight: New York to London. 2 months later, Clara worked a red-eye to London. Near the boarding gate, she spotted Tom Hanks chatting with an elderly man in a World War II veteran hat. The man's hands trembled as he confessed, "First time flying. My wife always handled this." Tom sat beside him. "Let me tell you about my first flight disaster," he laughed, sharing a story about a turbulent shoot for Cast Away. He stayed with the man through takeoff, explaining how engines worked. When anxiety spiked mid-flight, Tom distracted him with trivia about the Queen's corgis. "Fun fact," Tom whispered. "I once played a pilot who landed a plane on the Hudson. You're in safer hands now, I promise." At baggage claim, the veteran hugged Tom, who replied, "No, sir. Thank you for your service." Clara later learned Tom had arranged a car service to the man's hotel. Chapter 3. Dolly Parton and the Homesick Teen. Flight: Nashville to Orlando. Clara's next flight included a surprise VIP, Dolly Parton, dressed in rhinestones from head to toe, boarding with a battered suitcase. Mid-flight, a teenage girl in braces burst into tears near the lavatory. Clara approached, but Dolly was already there, arm around the girl's shoulders. "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" Dolly asked. "My dad's in the hospital," the girl sobbed. "I'm scared he'll—" Dolly didn't miss a beat. She pulled out a sequined notebook and scribbled lyrics. "Storms don't last, love's a steady hand / hold on tight, honey, you'll both still stand." She sang it softly, her voice a warm hum. Then she pressed a $500 tip into the girl's palm. "For your taxi and a milkshake. Call your mama when we land." As they exited, Dolly winked at Clara. "Sugar, you got any dreams? Don't let 'em collect dust." Chapter 4. Taylor Swift and the Heartbroken Fan. Flight, London to New York. Clara's favorite encounter happened at 30,000 feet. A young woman in a 1989 hoodie cried silently in row 12. Across the aisle, Taylor Swift glanced up from her book. Without a word, Taylor passed the girl a note. "Bad day? I've had 3,492. Let's fix this." She slid into the empty seat beside her. The girl confessed her fiancé had cheated days before their wedding. Taylor listened, then said, "I wrote a song about that once. Wanna hear a secret? He's the one who'll regret it." She handed the girl a pair of diamond-studded earrings. "These were a gift from someone who didn't deserve me. Now they're yours." At baggage claim, Taylor hugged her. "You're gonna glow up so hard, he'll need sunglasses." Epilogue, Clara's change of heart. Back in L.A., Clara sat in her apartment, replaying the encounters. She'd saved Keanu's note, Dolly's lyrics, and a photo of Tom Hanks' goofy mid-flight thumbs up. The next day, a nervous trainee spilled coffee on a first-class passenger. Instead of scolding her, Clara smiled. "Let me tell you about a guy named Keanu." Themes to highlight in your video. 1. Quiet kindness. Celebrities using anonymity to help without cameras. 2. Shared humanity. Fame doesn't erase life's struggles. 3. Legacy of goodness. Small acts ripple outward. Final chapter. The Ripple Effect, **. Flight, Los Angeles to Sydney. Clara Martinez stood at the gate of her final flight before retirement, her navy blue uniform crisp, her silver wings pin gleaming. 12 years of cynicism had melted into quiet optimism, thanks to the unlikely teachers she'd met at 30,000 feet. Keanu, Tom, Dolly, Taylor. Today, she vowed, she'd pay their lessons forward. But fate had one last test for her. A commotion erupted at row 15. A man in a rumpled suit, late 40s, red-faced, was berating a trainee flight attendant who'd accidentally bumped his laptop. "You ruined my presentation. I'll have your job," he shouted, drawing stares. Clara's old instincts flared. Apologize, comp the drink, move on, but then she remembered Keanu's note, tucked in her pocket. "You're doing great." She knelt beside the trainee, whose name tag read, Lila, first day. "Let me handle this," Clara whispered. To the passenger, she said calmly, "Sir, I'm so sorry. Let's get you a window seat in first class, on us, and I'll personally dry clean your jacket. Can I also offer you a glass of that bourbon you like? Woodford Reserve, right?" The man blinked, disarmed. "How did you?" Clara smiled. "I've done this a while. You're headed to Sydney for a tech conference. Your stress isn't about the jacket, it's about nailing that pitch. But trust me, you've got this." The man deflated. Thanks. "And sorry for yelling, kid," he muttered to Lila. As Clara walked away, Lila mouthed, "How did you know?" "His boarding pass had a conference logo," Clara winked. "And his bag tag said *Alex, tech or die.' Everyone just wants to feel seen, Lila." Mid-flight, Clara noticed a teenage boy in a Stranger Things hoodie, hunched over a sketchpad. His hands trembled as he drew, a habit she recognized from her nephew with anxiety. She approached. "Mind if I look?" The sketches were stunning, a cyberpunk cityscape, all neon and rain. "These are incredible," Clara said. "You're an artist?" The boy, Jake, shrugged. "My dad says it's a waste of time. Wants me to study engineering." Clara's mind flashed to Dolly's words, "Don't let dreams collect dust." She pulled out her phone, scrolling to a photo of Keanu's note. "See this? A guy once told me, 'You're doing great,' when I didn't believe it." "You know who he was?" Jake squinted. "John Wick." Clara laughed. "Yep. And he's a huge art geek. Owns a whole motorcycle company just because he loves bikes. Point is, kid, don't let anyone shrink your spark. Not even you." She returned later with a surprise, a first-class dessert plate and a postcard of Sydney's street art scene. On the back, she'd written, "To Jake, burn bright. Clara and Keanu says hi." As the plane descended, Clara spotted a familiar face in row 8, Florence Pugh *, sunglasses on, scribbling in a journal. A fan nearby recognized her and snapped a covert photo. Florence noticed but said nothing, shoulders tense. Clara approached the fan, a college-aged girl. "Hey, can I see your camera roll?" she asked gently. The girl flushed, deleting the photo. "Thank you," Clara said. "How about I take a real photo for you?" "If she's up for it." To Florence's surprise, Clara handed her a note. "You're a star on and off screen. Want to make her day." Florence laughed, nodding. The fan stammered, I loved you in Oppenheimer." "Thanks, love. Want a selfie where we both look human?" Florence joked, fluffing her hair. Afterward, she handed the girl her scarf. "Here, yours now. Wear it to your next big exam for luck." As Clara walked away, Florence stopped her. "You're good at this. Ever think of writing a book?" Clara paused. "Maybe. But I've got one more flight to finish." The circle closes. At baggage claim, Clara spotted Jake showing his sketches to a woman in paint-splattered jeans, a local artist Florence had secretly called via Instagram. "She wants to mentor you," the woman said. Jake's eyes lit up. Nearby, the tech executive, Alex, helped an elderly couple with their bags. "Payback for earlier," he told Clara sheepishly. Then her phone buzzed. A text from Lila. "First day done. Didn't cry once. P.S. I bought the bourbon guy a coffee. He tipped me $100. Clara smiled. The ripple had begun. The last letter. Back home, Clara found a package. Inside was a leather-bound journal and a letter. "Clara, heard about your retirement. Write the book. People need these stories. K." Enclosed was a photo, Keanu, mid-laugh on a motorcycle, with a post-it, "Burn bright." The journal's first entry read, "Kindness isn't soft. It's the quietest rebellion there is." In a world that often feels divided, these stories remind us that humanity soars highest when we lift each other up. Keanu Reeves didn't just inspire Clara. He ignited a chain reaction that crossed oceans, careers, and generations. So the next time you're faced with anger, fear, or doubt, ask yourself, what would Keanu do? And remember, your smallest act of grace might just be someone else's lifeline at 30,000 feet. This isn't just a story, it's an invitation. Keanu Reeves, Dolly Parton, Tom Hanks. They proved that fame doesn't have to be shallow. But you don't need a spotlight to make a difference. Here's your mission. Keycap 1, share this video with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still soars. Keycap 2, tag a friend who's your quiet hero with hashtag Quiet Rebellion. Keycap 3, do one thing today. Buy a stranger's coffee. Leave a note. Listen without judgment. Because the world doesn't change when we wait for heroes. It changes when we become them. Text on screen. Start your ripple. Drop your kindness story below. Fire. Asterisk final shot. Keanu's handwritten, burn bright note fades into a sunset. As text appears, the revolution is kindness. Join it.